So watch how you do, Buck. Turn the jazz up a little bit. Turn on the canned jazz. Little piano bar kind of thing going on here. Anyway, we're gonna lighten it up for this video. If you watched the previous one, we're gonna take down a notch, man. How the heck are you? I'm gonna be telling the whiskey whisper, at least for the purposes of this video, anyway. And we're gonna do some whiskey on the rocks. Well, on the rock, if you will. See if we can adjust that a little bit there. There we go. How the heck are you? So let's pour some, shall we? I'm going to do one kind of as is, and then we're going to get a little funky with the second one. Work on finishing up this bourbon Rubenesque. Actually, no, we're going to have that one second because I had that one just straight earlier. That's the one I'm going to do something funky with. Let's have some Tyrconnell single malt Irish. This is the Irish whiskey aged 10 years in port casks. It's a big one at 92 proof for a single malt. Pour a solid 2 ounces in here. And let that get happy. With that second one, yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this bourbon Rubenesque here, which is a small batch, small distillery bottled in bond bourbon at 100 proof. Bottled in bond, it has to be 100. Aged a minimum of 4 years. See how much we got left in here. Just a little over 2 ounces. It might be 3 by the time we get done pouring there, which is okay. Because we're going to add a little something to her, man. And we are. We're going to get a little funky here. My wife had made some vanilla simple syrup with the vanilla bean, and she added a couple cherries in there. So we're going to kind of make that to our own little liqueur there. Anyways, how the heck are you? Let me delve into this single malt first, though. It's a gorgeous single malt Irish whiskey. That's aged 10 years. That's 10-year-old, but finished in port cask. Oh, man, this stuff is good. Getting near the end of her. Well, probably got, about a quarter left there. But I probably ought to finish up. Part of me thought about trying to save it for next year, but it'll be best if I just get through it. Picked it up in January, but I actually didn't open it until close to St. Patrick's Day, just before St. Patrick's Day is when I popped that thing. Because I start celebrating early. It becomes a month-long thing here at the Mulvihill House. We take our St. Patrick's Day seriously. It becomes St. Patrick's month. The whole month we were in it. It's not about just drinking, though. It's not about getting drunk for sure. It's about enjoying things and researching our traditions and our heritage and foods. A lot of it's about food. I mean, it's good. I've been drinking most of it neat, but there is something to be said for it cold. I wouldn't want too much water to get in here, or you're going to kill it. But you get that right amount. You get to what I call the sweet spot, where you bring all those sugars to the surface. And you really just taste that sweetness. You taste that honey, those heather notes that an Irish whiskey brings to play. Nice. Oh yeah, I'm right there now where I really feel those honey notes. Mm, gosh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't add the sweetness to this particular whiskey because it is sweet enough as it is. Yeah, you feel like you have a lot of sugars going on here. Irish whiskey is tend to be known as the smooth, sweeter one next to its Scotch counterparts. So I put the rest of my bourbon Rubenesque in here. Oh wow, we added that little bit of sweetness too. Oh my goodness, yeah, a little bit, a little bit of vanilla. Oh my lord, that takes it in a whole other direction. Wow, that's good. Yeah, bourbon Rubenesque. Yeah, it's not as sweet as most bourbons. So I thought, well, if I'm going to add something to something, add a little sweetness to something, this is probably the direction to go. Apologize, my nose just started running over here. There's always something in this corner. I don't know what it is. I've got a couple different plants. I'm not sure what's setting off my allergies, but something does. Oh, man, that's good. That's really good. That little bit of sweetness. Yeah, you could make a cocktail or something like this if you want to add some club soda or something to give it some fizz. This is really good as is. Though. It's that little bit of sweetness. I probably had about a half ounce in there to the 3 ounces of whiskey that went in there. Uh, I'm off tomorrow. Why are you doing a video on a Monday, Tim? Because I'm off tomorrow. I work today, but I'm off. That's why I'm so late. I work today, but I'm off tomorrow, so I can sleep in tomorrow. Tuesday is my sleep in day. I relax. I don't have to do anything day. And then Wednesday, if I'm off, that's when I get the stuff done I need to get done. But Tuesday, I like to, that's a me day. Once I'm off all Tuesdays, that's a me day, man. I can relax. I don't have to do anything except feed my wife. Well, I gotta cook breakfast. I gotta feed myself too. But nevertheless, but quite frankly, I prefer doing my own cooking. That way, I know it gets done the way I like it done. I'm getting very particular in my old age. I like things done a certain way, so I prefer to do all the cooking. That way, I know it gets done exactly how I like it done. I remember hearing stories that when I was a kid, that mom didn't know how to cook until she married dad, and dad kind of gradually taught her. And mom got pretty good up to a point, but then there were five of us kids, so my youngest brother says that the cooking went kind of downhill. As he was growing up after the rest of us were gone. Yeah, I think mom kind of just quit caring a little bit and just said, fuck it. So my youngest brother likes very little flavor. He likes his food incredibly bland, no seasoning whatsoever. Everything's got to be very simple. And I know one of my older sister and myself, we're a lot different. Our cooking styles are completely different, but we both like to cook with a lot of flavor and a lot of herbs. For me, I've taken a lot of That's I don't know that I've taken his recipes. I've taken more of the idea of the recipes, to be honest with you. But then I've added what I think ought to go in there. I think I like this idea, Dad. I like this that we grew up with, but I want to do this to it. That's kind of what I've known. Uh, what I've enjoyed doing over the last few years is taking, comfort food and just trying to kick it at just a little. I mean, not take it to another level, not taking where it no longer resembles comfort food, which is what I think a lot of TV cooks slash chefs like to do, is take, oh, we're going to take it to another level. Well, no, it no longer resembles the comfort food. I just want to kick it up just a little bit. Just add some flavor to some things. Add some herbs, less salt, more herbs is kind of my thing. I want to cook with less salt. Because the spice cabinet growing up was pretty much salt, pepper, and oregano. Everybody had oregano for some reason. I don't know if anybody knew what to use it for, but everybody had oregano, but they had nothing else. Then I remember when my sister started dating Italian brothers, they tried to introduce garlic salt and garlic powder into the house, and Dad would have none of that, man. No, our food will not have flavor. Anyway, but anyway, as I was starting to find some of this stuff, even as a teenager, when I started using the garlic powder and things that were brought into the house, celery salt, various things. Okay. And then when I got out on my own and started experimenting with other things, and then got married, and we started watching cooking shows. It's a funny thing when you start watching cooking shows, you just feel like you got to take it to that level. So I started watching all these shows, and then I started, okay, you got to use this, and now I've kind of gone back to my roots. Mostly is that I want to keep things simple, like I do my cocktails. Keep the dishes simple, but add just a little bit of this and a little bit of that, something just to kick that dish up a notch, where it still resembles that original dish, but it has a little more flavor and a little less salt. Because people in the 60s and 70s, or probably the 50s too, I guess, I just can't speak to that, used a lot of salt, man. No wonder everybody had high blood pressure. They were using a shit ton of salt, man. And it wasn't even good salt. They're using that umbrella salt, that terrible ass salt that made everything taste like shit. Now we have choices, right? We have good salt now. We can buy kosher salt. We can buy gray salt. We can buy pink salt. There are a lot of options out there. Some are better for cooking with, some are better for finishing, meaning you just want to add a little bit at the end. But some are better for cooking when you're adding to the dish, because you got to add a little bit to the dish. If you wait to the end, then all you're going to taste is salt. You got to add just a little bit, just enough to give you that flavor. And if you need to add a little finishing, but my wife and I, we don't, growing up, salt and pepper was always on the table. You added salt and pepper after the dish was finished. But when I've got that dish finished, it's finished. So you don't you don't usually need to add any more salt or pepper to it, because I've got it seasoned, baby. And that's what they didn't do in the 60s and 70s. They didn't season anything. That's why you had to add salt and pepper, because nothing was seasoned, man. And what is it with white people and chicken, man? Why can't we season the chicken? Put some stuff on the chicken, man. Chicken is the most bland meat known to man. It needs something, especially the breast meat. It tastes like nothing if you don't season the living shit out of it. Give it some flavor, but by that, I mean, give it some flavor. Don't add a whole shitload of salt. Add herbs, add spices. Add some good fresh herbs, or even dried herbs work. Gosh, that's nice. Yeah. My wife wanted me to make her a little cocktail, and keep it in mind, my wife doesn't drink very much. So I made we didn't use a lot of, there's only a little bit in a little bottle of Bacardi. So it's maybe, I don't know, she maybe had a half ounce of liquor in that drink. Added about an ounce of some lemon drop stirrings, a cocktail mix that we picked up a couple months ago, or actually back in January, so a few months ago now. But now, to me, that mix is it's supposed to be sour because it's lemon drop, but it is awful sweet too. It's lemon drop. It's not a sour mix. It's a lemon drop. So there's a lot of sugar in there. But for her, she wasn't getting the sugar. She was just getting the sour. So then she remembered she'd made a vanilla simple syrup, so she added a little bit of that to her drink. But I said, well, I'm going to take about a half ounce and add it to this whiskey and just see what it does. And I got to tell you, it ain't bad. I mean, it is a very bold, brash whiskey, and that little bit of sweetness does something to it. I got to tell you. Mercy, Percy. So those of you watching me this evening, this will be the last video I do because I'm done now, man. But I come back with one more. If I can't sleep in tomorrow, relax, take it easy, enjoy the day, watch some movies, be unproductive as humanly possible. I've got a few things I need to do Wednesday, but Tuesday's a me day, man. Tuesday I can relax and not have to do really anything. I can sleep in and then cook breakfast, which is really going to be more brunch. Usually on those days, I only cook two meals. We do a very late breakfast. Usually it's close to lunchtime. And then we just do a slightly early dinner. And then if we need something later, we'll have a little snack. But just do the two meals instead of three. Oh, man, that is pretty good. That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I mean, if I added that, if I would have added some I had some bitters and a garnish. I could have turned that into an old fashioned. Didn't think of that at the time. At the time, I just kind of wanted to keep it simple. I kind of wanted to see what that syrup did. But now that I'm tasting it, yeah, if I added just a few drops to my cherry bitters, a little garnish, that would have been a hell of an old fashioned. But sometimes you just want to keep it simple, man. Gosh, June's almost over. We're over half through the year now. See the biscuit, we're half through the year, I guess. Closed in on 4th of July, the next holiday. I know people that's their favorite holiday. I don't have an issue with it per se. I don't have an issue with the concept of the 4th of July. Never been a big fireworks guy, though, to be honest with you. The idea of the fireworks, I don't mind watching displays, but I've never been one of those guys that had a need to light everything. I want to be here to light it up. I don't give a rat's ass who lights shit. And I don't want to pay for it either. I'd rather be the guy buying the food to take to the barbecue than to spend a lot of money on shit we're just going to burn up. Well, Tommy, just burning up the food too. Yeah, but at least some good comes from that food. No good comes from that fireworks. Just a few seconds of joy and oh look, lights in the sky. Okay, that guy just never did anything for me, man. I like the barbecue portion of the holiday, though. I like the family portion, of course. I like the spirit of the 4th of July. But the whole redneckality of it all is a little put off. Anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. On that note, I'm the whiskey whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. All right, good guys. Sláinte, thanks for tuning in.